Welcome to part 3 of our webinar series, Windchill Integration Across Enterprise Systems. My name is Brian Schouten, Director of Technical Presales for PROSTEP Inc. And today we'll be taking a look at a deep dive into OpenPDM as well as some demos and use case overviews of OpenPDM in action. In our integration series, we started off with some digital enterprise vision and integration strategy in part 1. In part 2, did some integration planning and talked about some OpenPDM fundamentals. In this one, we're going to start off with some demos, look at some various use cases, and then also look at the different technology of powering OpenPDM. And then finally, in the next part, look at some success stories and next steps. So we'll start off with a few integration demos showing various use cases and integration strategies. The first is 3DX to Windchill integration. This is where you might use 3D Experience as a design tool and then also maybe early engineering tool. And you want to use Windchill for product lifecycle management, kind of a central repository for downstream applications and also configuration management. So you need to synchronize data, including the parts, the designs, the BOM, from 3D Experience into Windchill automatically so that you can have that data available there. The second is a Windchill and Teamcenter integration. And so this is when you might use Windchill with Creo data and you want to introduce Teamcenter TC for Sim as a simulation data management system. That means you would need to replicate that Creo design from Windchill to Teamcenter so that you can use the various tools with TC for Sim in order to perform analysis on that and also reuse the analysis constraints so that when you're performing those, you're not doing extra work in order to try and fit that, and you can reuse the same type of tests in the future. So in our first demo, we'll showcase 3D Experience and Windchill integration. In this case, you're doing design and engineering work in 3D Experience. You're using modern CATIA, and you want a way to then synchronize that data to Windchill that you're using for configuration management and downstream product lifecycle management activities. So you've introduced your OpenPDM process server in the middle and 3D Experience connectors and Windchill connectors that you can use to integrate that data. We've got a process that's then going to start by exporting the product structure from 3DX, exporting the Step 242 Edition 2 files from there, as well as downsaving from modern CATIA to CATIA v5. Then we'll go ahead and the process will import that part product structure, create that CATIA v5 through our Workgroup Manager controller, and then create the Step 242 documents as well in Windchill. To do this, we're going to show 3DX, we're going to show the data that you're going to need to synchronize, and then we have a little widget where we can initiate the process. We'll show that process running in OpenPDM. The execution results, and then the other details along with that. And then finally, we're going to go into Windchill. We'll step through the part structure and the designs, and then you can see the step files, as well as load the data through the Workgroup Manager into CATIA so you can see the ultimate results. So just to start, we look at Windchill to show that there's nothing within this, this demo product folder. Where we're going to load the data that's synchronized. And so we're going to go back to 3D Experience. We've got our wing assembly here within 3DX. It's got about 25, 30 components to it. And we can take a look at the representations there and some properties of that. We also have our widget below that, the Send to Windchill widget. And this is just for an example and demonstration purposes, but you can drop the data in there and then click go, and it will go ahead and start the process within OpenPDM in order to synchronize the data. So we've done that, and you see that they've started a job. We can go to the OpenPDM process cockpit here, refresh it, and you'll see that the job has been created. It has a message of what's going on within the background. So it starts by doing that export and the EXPDM, downsaving the CATIA v5, exporting the step, doing a mapping, creating the Windchill metadata, creating the work group manager CATIA data, and then finally doing a report of it. It was sped up a little bit. It does take a little bit of time because of the CAD processing. So, you can see the different steps and the time it took in order to accomplish each of them. And maybe 5 minutes total or something like that in order to accomplish the whole thing. And finally, we go into Windchill where the folder has been populated. And so you can see the gear parts and the designs and then the step data sets that are part of that. We can go ahead and take a look at the product and the CAT product structure here. You can go ahead and expand on the assembly, and then also show all the files that are associated with it and other documents. So you can see there that there's a CAD document as well as a step document that are associated with that one. And then we can expand and show all. You can see that there's also CAD and step that are associated with the rest of them as well. We can go to Workgroup Manager in CATIA V5 and then open that up. And we can then open up our wing assembly within CATIA. You see that the downsave CATIA then loads up within CATIA V5 so that you can have the representations there. We can also generate a Creo view either from the step data through a special process on the import, or through CATIA V5 that has been committed and with a CAD worker within Windchill itself. Once you take a look at this data, you can also see within the files that there are properties that have been transferred between the 3D experience environment and then also with the Workgroup Manager. And so you can see what those properties are as part of this process, and that everything is aligned and moved over as it should be efficiently. So you can see that there's some additional properties here, and some of them are from CATIA and 3D Experience, and some also from the Workgroup Manager with the Windchill properties that are here, the PTC Workgroup Manager properties. In our second demo, we'll take Windchill Creo data and then create that within Teamcenter through the IPEM Creo integration so that you can use that data within Teamcenter for performing analysis. We're going to start with a trigger that then instantiates the process in OpenPDM. That process is then going to export the data through Windchill connector and JLink controllers, map the data from a Windchill format to a Teamcenter format, and then import the data into Teamcenter using the Teamcenter connector and IPEM controller. So we'll start our demo from within Windchill, and we'll show off the assembly that we're going to synchronize. Could be that you have designers using Creo in Windchill, or it's a legacy system that you want to keep around after you're introducing Teamcenter for other purposes, maybe as a general product lifecycle management or manufacturing analysis, or for any other reason really. And then you can synchronize data between the two systems to keep them up to date, and the designers can still use Windchill. This can be started as a manual trigger here, but it makes a lot of sense in order to automate that process and use like a lifecycle status or a workflow in order to have a synchronization at a regular interval that makes sense to your business process to keep things up to date without a manual need to synchronize it. So you see this process has been started within the OpenPDM process cockpit. It's exporting the data from Windchill with JLink, importing the data into Teamcenter with our IPEM controller, as well as using the Windchill and Teamcenter connectors for exporting and importing the product structure, attributes, other documents, and other data as well. So with that all completed, you see it took about 3 minutes and 46 seconds. Because of the CAD export, it takes a little bit of time and import as well. Or go ahead and open that up within IPEM and then show the assembly within Teamcenter and IPEM. It's been created, and you can open it up and use it, as well as generate JT and use the other data that's associated with the designs and product structure within Teamcenter. Now that we've explored some demos of OpenPDM, we can kind of dig into some of the platform architecture. So within the demos, you saw a lot of the components that are overall within this architecture. There are the different connectors to systems like Teamcenter, Windchill, 3DX, and other systems available on the lower left. You have the orchestration layer in the middle. That's that process server that you're deploying the process and then creating instances of that. And those are started with the triggers that are in the upper left. You can do monitoring. And then there are different services like mapping service or also the translation services, notification services, and other services that are kind of baked into the BPMN workflow engine as well. There are quite a few different connectors available for OpenPDM, and they've been supported for a long time. So you see here with 3DX, going back to Matrix 1 and Innovia V6, with Windchill, with legacy info engine and APIs, and then REST and the method services, and now modern Windchill Plus. Same thing with SAP, supporting back with R3, R4, and now new modern cloud OData interfaces. Same as with Teamcenter, so supporting Teamcenter, for a long time, almost since the Iman days, with legacy Teamcenter engineering as well. OpenPDM is a set of microservices. These can be deployed on Kubernetes or OpenShift or other solutions, and makes it rapidly deployable, highly available, and then supporting modern architectures and deployment methodologies, as well as cloud-based solutions. We showcased in the demo some manual triggers, but really best practice is to have automated triggers with OpenPDM. But there's a variety of different trigger types that we could utilize. Manual, like embedded within PLM systems or user interface, or within the OpenPDM process server, like we showed in some of the demos. Really, workflows are the best way to do it, though, and that could be triggered by an event within a system or a workflow process within the system, so that it listens for status or lifecycle changes. We can also do time-based synchronization, so see what the delta is, over an amount of time, and then synchronize just what the changes are. And then also message queue or watched folder type of implementations. And really all of it's driven by this REST message service that's supporting workflows and manual or time-based integrations as well. OpenPDM has a real robust administrative interface, allowing you to configure the product as well as maintain it, so you can see status and instances and review all the details of all the processes. With that, we conclude the third part of our four-part series of Windchill integration. Remember, PROSTEP's here to help. We've been doing this for a long time, more than 30 years. We've got commercial tools that can help speed your integration and make it more robust and maintainable. And so reach out if you've got any questions or want to engage in Windchill integration. Thanks.